they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street, they hawk. Still them talk, say, make we no talk. But thank God, say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. And people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. And this is Mayegun Live. Eku ọjọ́ mẹ́ta, eku 3 days. I have been off and on this platform, especially this month, and you probably could tell why. I'm missing out. You are missing out every episode that every moment that Mayegun is not live. However, every time we have to spend together as well is much cherished. So thank you very much for joining me. Tonight, I am just going to give you some gist. Some of you have possibly been, you've seen, or maybe not. Share the broadcast. You are all welcome to the Temple of Truth. The Temple of Truth, where sometimes or even most times the truth can be very, very inconvenient or let's say uncomfortable. But it is still has to be said. And saying them is just to help those that can be easily deceived, manipulated, or even blackmailed to do the bidding of the establishment. So this is something that we can call mental gymnastics, mental gymnastic, where you get to know that at least you won't have to put your trust or any kind of expectation in the words of rogues that you know better. So with that, you can possibly, or it makes it easier for you or for all of us to channel our energy, you know what I mean, like our resources, our thoughts and everything towards something that we believe with dedication and then a commitment is more profitable than the words of criminal politicians. So in the Temple of Truth, it cuts across, it's like the same sword, it cuts across all lies. And we are all willing and we stand to be corrected wherever we go wrong as well. But that is a reality where people could say, oh, that what you said there is wrong. No, it is mostly about how you said it. That's one thing on Mayegun's diary political that has made so many people so uncomfortable. They won't disprove what they hear or see on Mayegun's diary political. But they are much concerned. Like, I don't like how you said it. You could have said it, you could have said it better. You could have delivered what you wanted to say without saying it, without being constant, all that stuff. We call those people the politically correct people. I don't respect them, but I acknowledge them. Because over time, I have realized that the system, which actually is what made many of us. Some of us just turned their rebels against a system that we are supposed to be so obedient to, loyal to, and then possibly die miserably into as well. So there are those who believe that, we can, you know what I mean? Like trying to tell a lie. Tell a lie by trying to make it half true. They will say, well, it's not completely a lie. You can say it's half truth. So people who are comfortable with half truth are always having problems. They've always had problem with me or on this platform, not because of what we do, but they have problems with how we say them. They want us to be diplomatic, even though some feel like we are even too, we are like a medium as well. Some felt like we should be more firebrand, like, that's okay. Maybe we should date me too. But if you take all this out, Mayegun's Diary Politico is a place where you can actually be on your own, listen, 15, 20 minutes, right? And then you just realize that your thinkings, your thoughts are just going to be taken to a different level on your own. No, nobody's there. Based on what you hear on Mayegun's Diary Politico, that you can go and ruminate over. So, I am not doing this because I want you to be my friend or I want to be the good person, nice person. I haven't been out to be that person to you. So we call this platform the Temple of Truth, a place where you can say citizens gather to express how they truly feel about the rigged system that has kept millions and generations in poverty, and they will do more. So when we see reactions to show to you that you could take them up and take them down only if you know why and how. First, you have to know who you are taking down. So all of these are the complicated part of it that we do our best on Mayegun's Diary Political to untangle. Anyway, enough said. Let me give you a few announcements before we get fully into this tonight. And thank you very much, by the way, for joining me. And I hope the audio is still perfect. The picture is still clearer on your screen or your device. So we plan on this platform to reach out to 500 families in Yoruba land before the end of the year. So I am happy to tell you, even before we even make any payment, right? We have a member of this platform who is very, very important to us now. We know better. So he's been doing the background work for us to make sure that whatever it is going to take, right, this is a success, like many other things we've actually like ventured into, especially in 2022. So on this note, we have, made available the first tranche of our money. 2 million naira has been made available, okay, to cover the first tranches of, procurement that we are going to eventually bag, and then, get to take to our people as planned. So on that, we plan that this week we'll make another tranche of fund available that will cover, the balance, and then that will cover the logistics, including those who are going to volunteer to help us make this work. So all of these are being put into the work right now. And I believe that by tomorrow, we should probably have 90% of all we need, which means we are almost ready. And you can volunteer too. If you are in any part of Yoruba land right now watching me, right, there will be a number or even numbers that you can reach out to or contact to say, oh, if you are coming to my state, I am willing to help. Just let me know when you are coming to our own place. Then I am willing to mobilize and help. So the team will be so happy or glad. They will be glad to hear that. That is on that. And then congratulations to Argentina that just won the World Cup after 36 years. Isn't that amazing? So I grew up loving Messi personally, and life happened. I couldn't keep up anymore. But for this one, I was able to actually see the part of the whole thing. So, which means a lot of people actually, sort of plugged in to see the final today. I didn't see much of it until when I saw Kolu that tweeted this. I was like, wait till they shell. What's going on? So Kolu tweeted Messi to say, Milokan of Doha. Sure you get, and if, Photoshop the whole thing to his head, Tinubu's art, and this seems to have been in circulation for a while, but somehow, yeah, it fits into the call loose agenda, and he tweeted this. I was like, oh my. So while I was like also, surfing the internet as well, I came across this. I was like, oh my God. So people are like reacting. You get what I mean? I think this was before the march. Unfortunately, the obedient did this. Sure, you get. And I think others who are like PDAPC, or what are they called? They did this. So it was more or less like their own reaction to the World Cup today, just like everyone else all over the world. So congratulations to Argentina, and Lionel Messi is now probably should be the undisputable GOAT. I think so many people are beginning to agree that this argument of who is the GOAT or who is not can finally be laid to rest after today. I don't think so, right? Just like redesign or recoloring naira, it's never going to change the value. Recoloring it, it's never dipping it into the dye is never going to change the value. Guess what? The first week that the new Nigerian notes, the newly repainted Nigerian notes, first week on the streets, Baba, the shege started probably from the entrance of the bank. Or somehow, this is the reality after a week. Those first batch of Nigerian Naira notes that came out. So they are already seeing the shege that a lot of you have been going through. Some will say this is abuse of money. And I was like, okay, maybe that is why Emefiole, is devising different means, right, to make it look like, he is planning to save the Naira by taking it out of, by recoloring it and taking it out of the circulation, and then giving you a plastic card, including your grandma in the village. The Okada rider that when you bump on when you jump on a ride, you have to have this cash. Do you get that? Now Nigeria is a cash economy whereby Emefiole want to run cashless. That is baseless. God help the future Naira notes that are going to also have to face the shege that is permanent in Nigeria. Kolu. President Kolu. Now, let me say something quickly before we delve fully into this tonight. How many of you heard that they stoned Kolu in Minna? How many? Now, not that it will really matter in the scheme of things for those who have been following or those who are the student of Nigeria political drama for years now. Somebody like myself, things like this, they don't eventually come to, but there are some significance in them that we must also point out in this conversation. But before we delve into that, let me say something to you watching me right now. There are some things that they are facts until they are no longer, sometimes, right? They say we do things because whatever we do, they will end up, right, either making history or ending up in the trash can of history that nobody will remember. Do you get that now? Now, there are some certain things that are facts about Nigeria, no matter which side of the coin you are. Are you with me? Number one, as bad as they have mismanaged Nigeria, as corrupt as they have wrecked the value of Nigeria, there is one thing that you must always remember. As of today, Nigeria is still officially seen and recognized as the biggest black nation on earth. Now, the nations where they inside Nigeria, They try to tell the world that they force us here to make this whatever facts you want to present. If you ask us if we want to be here, maybe all of us won't be here. That is a different, I mean, that's called alternative facts. But the major one is that now being that big over time has made so many friendly, unfriendly countries, regimes all over the world to become stakeholders in that Nigeria. Therefore, when you are in the, what do you call it? When you are in that determined spirit to say, we are living, don't forget that you are not saying we are living to Bokwari or another Aboki, your friend, or your not so friendly friends in northern Nigeria, your fellow one Nigerianist, it's not going to be just them determining it. So when you say that, you have to factor all of that in, the interest that is not yours in any way. We all know that. The second fact is this. If you want to uproot the ruling party all over the world, are you with me? We are going to chase you. We are going to end it. It is beyond go and get your PVC that they are telling you right now. And as of today, APC, Egbekegbe, they are not in any way preparing for elections. They are preparing, right, to ensure that whatever you think you might want to do, they are 5-10 steps ahead of you, and they will damn it even if they have to shoot all of you on the streets. They are not preparing for election. They are preparing for the threat of destabilization, of war that will come after this old charade that they have dragged you into. But the question is, as you are saying it to yourself repeatedly, now only when they rig, then go remain. Now, only when they do this or that, and Kalu will never be your president. The point here is this. Are you actually sure that you have what it takes to actually stop them? It's a personal question there. To dethrone Goodluck Egbere Jonathan, do you think it's because Jonathan was soft? Do you really think APC Egbekegbe was that so loved? And because you were shouting change, February, that was what ended PDP. Do you actually believe that? You will be too naive or ignorant to believe that. There are many things. Some of them I'll point out to you. It is called establishment. It doesn't matter who is in charge. That is one thing you have to know when you are dealing with Nigeria and Nigeria politicians. It is beyond what you see on the surface. And some of you do know, or you probably don't understand how significant they are. When they started with Goodluck Egbere Jonathan, right? They started with the recruitment of a terrorist. They camped them. They trained them. They gave them all the logistics, the resources they needed, right? Before they did that, they've already infiltrated the military, infiltrated the police, the DSS, or everything that has to do with the security apparatus is under Goodluck Egbere Jonathan. They've already been infiltrated. They were already in on it. He was preparing for election. They were preparing for a takeover. They were preparing for him to say, to finally see that they've rigged. I mean, they've gotten him. Then they wanted him to react so that they can just give him. They said they will give him backbow treatment. You know what backbow treatment was? I'll tell you. So it was like a total takeover. What they needed was just an opportunity to finally, right, hang him in the public opinion, including the opinion of the international communities. The terrorists who are going to carry out all the terror are there. Those who are supposed to counter them right? Or supposedly those who are supposed to detect them, their job to detect such movement and such mobilization, they chose not to. Do you think that was a coincidence? Do you believe that? To the point that his own party chairman became a member of the entire conspiracy. And the man himself came out and he said, Boko Haram have taken over his own government. They laughed at him, but he was saying the truth. It wasn't just, it wasn't about him. It was about that power. And him being there is the symbol of that power. And that is something they couldn't wait for any longer. You remember that? Today in Nigeria, majority of you have seen the shege that APC, including those who are like members of the APC, themselves. They are not spared. But here is the point. They have bragged openly that they have the money. They have the power. They control here and there, which is true. So the point here is that if you now do what you think you want to do, which some of the stages they have already been placed in anyway, you are preparing for election, Abi. They are preparing for a new takeover to take you to where you are likely never going to return. A journey of no return. Now, like I said, it doesn't matter who is in charge. But something happened. And what was that? They, in their desperation, in their I don't care way, as divided as Nigeria has become, right? They gave no damn about anybody. They still went on to choose Muslim tickets, because those who are really going to unleash the violence that is going to consume them, consume some of you who are like probably not prepared as well, they have to placate them with religion and then explain it away. Now, as that is creating its own sort of chaos here and there, and they are doing their best to try to like blindside the whole thing until you wake up one morning and they'll tell you, Kolu is your president-elect. So they invited him somewhere. And it was to Minna. Prior to that, remember that he was in Kaduna. In Kaduna, where El Rufaya has already, right, destroyed half of the entire space that make up Kaduna today. Go to Kaduna South. Long story, you know the story. But they still tend to like, it's about the establishment. It is about them. But they just have to give you something that make it look like it could still be about you if you can trust them more. But then that, right? A sick man to take over from another sick man to rule over a sick nation obviously can never be in the interest of any of you. So yeah, they went back to Minna, where the clerics organized a massive prayer, prayer stuff, right? And Kolu was invited, just like Obi. When you see Obi, when you see these mega churches in their different programs in the last couple of weeks, hang on. In the last couple of weeks, yeah. And Obi has been like grazing so many of them with thunderous applauses from the audiences, which has also riled the camp of the Agbadomites themselves by claiming that if there's any national crusade anywhere, it's possibly for Obi. But yeah, that's what happened in Minna too. Everybody's riding on that because that's exactly where this is going. You are not ready for it. So Tomina, where Kolu was earlier before the stoning. Watch this. Here is another one. Here you go. But you know, it's been popped up to appear in most places. So he probably had no clue what the guy was saying, but he was there and he believed that they are saying something nice about him. In fact, let me see where I got that closer shot. Okay, look at this one. So everything was well, fine. At a point, I actually felt like I was sleeping. Like, guy, I beg, hurry up, Jare, all this thing, hurry up, eh? So if you want to wake him up, just probably say, Jagaban. Let's say, Jagaban. Everybody vote for Jagaban. Jagaban. Oh, broom. Broom, 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 broom. Broom, 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 broom. And that's where people feel like, God knows the amount of dosage of these injections that they are giving to him just to keep him awake like that until he will just go straight into the oblivion. You won't see him anymore, like you don't see Bokwari anymore. And some are saying, like, why is Bokwari not leading the campaign anymore, by the way? Remember that Bokwari said he was going to lead the whole thing. Eh? Where is Bokwari? Why is he not? Okay, I don't know. Pastor Ruga has been excused. They said Pastor Ruga will be in charge of government and Bokwari will be leading him. But I've never seen Bokwari. Have you seen him with Tinubu? Anyway, that's just on the side. And I think when they were leaving the venue, you know what I mean now? There was this guy who happened to be their governorship candidate. Niger State, correct me if I'm wrong. Niger State, in Nigeria is being ruled by APC, Egbekegbe. And in Niger State today, over 700 communities across the local government areas in the state are now being controlled by terrorists with tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people displaced, now living in either neighboring states, in refugee camps, or in their own state capital. Some were even like they had to troop to the palace of the emir of Minna, Binko, the state capital, from their different communities. The place is ruled by the APC, Egbekegbe. So I don't know. So I don't know why they have to do this after all that prayers. Or maybe these are the ones who didn't gain access to the center. They started shouting, Bamayi, 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 we don't want you. Olopa mako everybody ni. Now that kind of one you go call Omo Olopa mako everybody ni. Now police go carry everybody. I don't understand. People they exchange blow because they won't stop car. They want what's happen? Now guys, take it easy. Now APC now. Come on. Sai Tinubu, Sai Baba. My go shut up. Bamayi, Bamayi, Now Tinubu that they stole so. Bamayi, kilo de calm down now. Which level now? Whether you like it or not, Tinubu will become your president. That's what one moron will tell you. Do you think you are doing anybody? You're not doing anybody. Somebody the whole knife. Say, watch me, oh. I'm going to show you that I am very smart than many. I'm smarter than many of you. And to show that to you, to punish all of you, I'm going to cut off this my hand. You will see how much pain all of you will suffer. What would you do? You just laugh and say, hey, go ahead. Do it. Just don't turn around later and then say, you are handicapped because people don't tell you, say, may you stop. You should have told me not to cut off my hand. I thought if I cut off this hand, I'm going to hurt all of you. You're not going to hurt anybody but yourselves. But it is always ideal to understand how much of this self-destruction you are about to inflict on yourself. Understanding is so important so that when the consequences of your action comes, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear brethren, you will not have to direct the blame to anywhere else but yourself. Maybe when you begin to take responsibility for your actions and not blame God or devil, maybe that mental revolution that people have been talking about will begin to take place or manifest in many, many of us. Mental revolution. We need a revolution to free ourselves from this slave. I said, free yourselves from yourselves first. You don't understand that. The day you begin to tell yourself the truth and not living off the truth of others. I'm talking about truth, not just your truth. It's like, it's liberating, honestly. And the feeling is different. Contentment. And it kind of make you look so matured as well. If you want to liberate, if you want to say, oh, we need to liberate ourselves, Baba, liberate yourself first. Liberate yourself from the mental slavery. Liberate yourself from your mental prejudices. Liberate yourself from other prejudices or biases that have beclouded your sense of reasoning enough to now, to be able to actually help others and say, yeah, now, So you're not hurting anybody. Even Atiku's wife. All I see is that so many of them are so confused. But sometimes they are not. You know, when you change like a chameleon, that could change color, like camouflage anytime, camouflage this to that to that. At some point, you're going to probably lose track of who you are. And I think that's exactly what happened to Atiku's wife, where she was talking to the people to support her husband, who is the presidential candidate, of the people destroying people or the people deceiving people. They said, no, now slip of tongue. I say, you have what do they call them? Gerontocrats. Gerontocrats. Sincerely speaking, did I hear that word there? Right or wrong? I just believe that they are talking about old, hag, corrupt criminals, but active in politics. My own definition. If it's not the same, it will be close to it. Or kleptocrats. Kleptocrats are just, it's just the combination of the words, a part of the words from kleptomaniac and then, what's that one again? Diplomat or something, whatever. I they call them kleptocrats. But they don't make mistakes. It is their world. And the sleep is not a sleep if you have a chance of correcting yourself without having to use that same sleep in the same sentence, adjoining and added, you know that stuff. Now, they put on the uniform they want you to put on. To them, it's all the same. Maybe it's a sleep anyway. What is this to you?
That 25th of February, everybody should come. If you have not collected your PVC, you go and collect your PVC. Get it ready. 25th of February, we should vote APC. APC, they promise to do so many things for the country, but we can see ourselves now the way we.
Madam. So they said it's a sleep. Maybe it is. Just same way your naira sleep and continue to sleep away from you. They've given you many, many reasons why your naira will continue to crash. In fact, if you want to understand why Nigeria economy is tumbling, why the naira is crashing, you are going to hear it from the professional politicians who can turn to doctors if they want to tell you about healthcare. They can turn to lawyers if they want to talk about lawmaking. They can turn to professionals when they are talking about construction. They can turn to anything because they are professional criminals. Are you with me? Emefiole. I don't know how many of you still remember that Emefiole actually ran to be ran as one of the presidential aspirants. Emefiole bought 100 million naira APC presidential form. Emefiole commissioned cars that are branded with his picture and everything. Central Bank Governor of Nigeria. Emefiole defended his right to run for any office if he wants to. Emefiole has done so much. But guess what? He is the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let me give you some of them. When they came in 2015, prior to that, Emefiole, who was appointed as Central Bank Governor of Nigeria by Goodluck Jonathan. So when APC, Egbekegbe, came in and they started telling us about Jonathan Atiku, This guy supposed, you know what I mean? You know the old drama when they came in, including this Dasuki Gates. Now, short story. They said $2 billion was shared to the friends of Jonathan by Dasuki. Now, the way APC, the way Layamo and the rest, the way they made it look was that bag of $2 billion was inside the room of Dasuki. And everybody is just going there to take a turn to what? To collect their own money from it. But what they didn't tell you, or part of what they left out, was that Dasuki, being the national security advisor to Jonathan, was said to have his boss, Jonathan's permission to supervise Jonathan's security votes, which were paid in dollars. Guess where that bank or the account is domiciled? Central Bank of Nigeria. So this is what happened. Whenever Dasuki, after the approval of Jonathan, whenever Dasuki want to draw money from the accounts, he will write a note or a memo that will be delivered directly to the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiole. Now, Emefiole would then have to process out that money, whether they wanted the money in dollars or they wanted the money in naira. How do they want the money? In cash or in transfer? Where do they want the money to go to? And all the paperwork, Emefiole will do them. So within a space of 9 months, starting from August 2014, they started drawing money from there, including the one they drawn to prosecute the rigging of Efayoshe's election in Ekiti at the time, if you remember. Now, fast forward this. By the time APC, Egbekebe came in, they have drawn over $2 billion, processed, approved, and delivered by Emefiole. A part of that money, Obasanjo collected. Yeah, they don't tell you. Bokwari collected first. He collected over 500 million naira that was said to be used to procure for him 2 bulletproof SUV vehicles after the attack on him in Kaduna, Zaria then. Remember that attack, The one that he came out of his car and he walked about the scene of his attack. Then people came out to say, Baba, then went back into his car and he drove off. That cost Nigeria 500 million naira in 2 SUV car and vehicles and a follow-up cash of $300,000 cash, delivered in cash to Bokwari himself. So when they started doing all the probe and all of that, and they started picking people who collected money, Femi Foni Kayode, Musili Obanikoro, Ruben Abati, Baba Olufalaye, who else? They were picking everybody's name everywhere, group, organization, political party, we collected money. They said Dasuki, in public, they said Dasuki's scandal was actually money meant to buy arms and ammunition to fight Boko Haram. Remember, that was the story, Abi? And that was why so many people felt like these people should be jailed, they should be killed, these people are enemy. Thank you, thank God, say I voted change. But that's actually not the story I want to tell you. It's just a bit of a ingredient that make up the whole story of what later happened. So what happened? They were picking people who collected money. Dasuki has used the money for weapons as election money. He has to pay for it. Meanwhile, as they were picking people up, Emefiole kept his job. Another person that kept his job, not only kept his job, he got promoted and he became notorious, a murderer, Buratai the Butcher. These were people who were supposed to be, if indeed the probe was about arms deal or arms money that they stole, Goodluck Egbere Jolantan will be in chain and in jail. Sure you get? Because he approved every penny that Dasuki shared to his cronies and his friends and all of them. Sure you get? So, and Bokwari himself would have to return everything they gave to him, including the cash. But they were not doing all of that because of them. They were readjusting and making that a distraction to what they will eventually perpetuate, what will eventually put Nigeria in that spot, the poverty capital of the world. The journey towards the poverty capital of the world is what I'm just telling you right now. They kept Emefiole. And many of those they said they arrested at the time, they are mostly part of APC, Egbekegbe today. In fact, there are those who are now sanctimonizing, sermonizing about how APC, Egbekegbe will make your life better. But guess what? Buratai the Butcher became the chief of army staff instead of being in jail. According to their record, when Dasuki was NSA to Jonathan, Buratai the Butcher, for the army, it was the itinerary officer, the person that would say we have so weapon in our armory and where the weapons they, which of our weapons have we used, where did we use them? People where they keep record, like a record office for the military. And in their record, Buratai the Butcher was actually marking that Nigeria under Jonathan, they were supplying enough weapons. They were buying, you know what I mean? So the fraud there was that as they kept Dasuki in jail, they promoted Buratai the Butcher. And it was after that we realized that Buratai the Butcher, soldier, officer in Nigerian army, itinerary officer, is so rich that he procured 2 choice, big property, expensive properties for his 2 wives in Dubai when he's managing the armory of Nigeria. Are you getting all of that yet? No? Don't worry, you'll get it. So he got promoted. So what happened to the Nigerian military after him? The Boko Haram escalated. Fulani terrorists, they joined. Now we have array of terrorists and terrorism all over Nigeria because Buratai the Butcher was actually not there to combat terrorism. He was there to do a job, and he did his job, and he got rewarded. For those they targeted and those they intentionally wanted to wipe out, they ensured that the state sanctioned their massacre killings took place under this Boko Haram's government too. And he's not held responsible. In the daylight in Abuja, they massacred over 80 people. The Shiite in Abuja, shooting, wherever they record. Buratai the Butcher. They killed over 1,400 people in an operation that lasted for 48 hours in Zaria, killing 1,480 something people in 2 days in Zaria, the Shiites. So he did all they wanted him to do. When he was done, they shifted him straight to Benin Republic as an ambassador, Nigeria ambassador to Benin Republic. Now let's come back to Emefiole, the man that is helping to save your naira. Emefiole was part of those who celebrated that they are rebasing Nigeria. Oh, they were rebasing Nigeria economy. Good luck, Jonathan. Nigeria economy is now over $500 billion, and then it's got the asset that is worth over 500 trillion. No, that nonsense, But they were actually like feeling good. If you look back today, you probably would love to go back to that, no matter how much you are lying to yourself. No matter what happened, Buhari's failure can never be compared to Jonah. They play, just they play. You get? Just they play. Right? Emefiole, who was part of that? Who was part of the Nigeria economists too, that were selling, they were processing the crude oil, the Nigerian petrol at 87 naira per liter. Exchanging your naira to dollar. Official rate of 145 naira. Black market rate of 200 naira to $1. That's Emefiole. Is now supervising the recoloring of naira. But there's something they did to naira that you must remember. It's called round tripping. You see, round tripping. What happened was that when Boko Haram came in, Owudon Hama. You see, when we were growing up, you see that's the way they call Shakpa today. 10 years ago, 8 years ago, they were called Owu. You see, Owu they wire me. Owu they worry me. Now Owu they worry you. Today na Shakpa you they call them. Majority of these miscreant, terrorists in Babariga, bunch of manipulators and criminals, economic wreckers, and different with Queen's English. They were as poor as how many of you are today. Some of you look at yourself and say, "Oh, more come be like say me and poverty we be roommates, yeah. Oh, my life I do. If I see my life, come be like say me and poverty will be roommate too. Like in reality, telling yourself, oh, these were those guys. That's the place they were. The place that millions of you are today in Nigeria, putting your hand in your pocket, nothing. But politics in Nigeria is actually a business. It's a job. Some of you haven't realized that. That is why when they tell you something, you believe them. When they say something to you, you hope on it. Then you begin to pray for them. You can't be that daft all the time every year. This bunch of opportunists, the moment you gave them that key, or more jihadist fellow Ferrari, jihadist with private jets. There's nothing bad in that. How do we get that to happen? They say it's no hard. Just submit your name, make them put your name down. There's something that's going to happen to Naira very soon. Nigerians go pay, and you are paying, and you will still continue to pay. Round tripping. I said that, I spoke about this years ago. I remember, and I will never stop talking about it. Because at the time, I was using what would come, what was happening to what will later come. Round tripping. Guess who first told us about it? Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. The Emirate referee. Lamido Sanusi came out and said, they don't finish you now. You are going to enter recession and you are never going to come out of it. What they are doing is that Nigeria depends on importation of everything, almost everything, to run their country. Right? Politicians will tell you once they come to power, they are going to do this, they are going to do that, so that people will stop importation, create jobs in Nigeria, real job. No, that's a lie. They don't even have any thought or capacity to do that. Do you understand that now? But they will say to them, we are going to stop this. Now, to get things, to be able to import anything to Nigeria, wherever you have to go to, you would have to get to to transact in their own currency, which means you have to do so via your central bank, your bank, or any other third party. However, you're going to get it. That is what gave birth to multiple, triple, quadruple, multiple exchange rates. And there is no country that runs multiple exchange rates that will be successful economically. I have checked all over the place. You can't be going through what you are going through in Nigeria and conveniently think it's all right to continue to run and Nigeria cannot survive because they cannot survive without running. They cannot survive running centralized, coordinated exchange rate, which will then make it easier for everybody to go to the same source for whatever you are looking for. There is no third party or anything. That should be the job of government. That should be the job of the central bank, making sure that everything that could create third party exchanges is going to create the death knell of your currency. And once your currency is dead on his knee, Baba, you go to work, you walk. The same work you are doing in Nigeria. Somebody else, the one you are doing in Nigeria, and you are working like dead, is the same thing somebody else is doing somewhere else. Not as bad as others you are, but the rewards are different. Have you asked yourselves why? Your currency. It's got something to back it. The moment they came to power, they attacked that source, and that is your oil, your crude oil. So when your central bank want to help your currency, they will do everything in their power to make sure that you don't have multiple exchange rate of because if your business, your economy depends on the access to that forex, it simply means you are doomed, you are done for. But when these guys came in, instead of helping to curb this multiple exchange